Welcome back to Face Off Around the Culture. I'm your host, Horatio.
I'm your host, Vidal. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, man, I'm excited, man. We are back talk about the HBCU band recap of this week. We have made it to the end. We're pretty much at the end. We didn't really have that many, what I'm saying, battles or matchups this week. What do you think about this week closing off kind of the season, getting into kind of like the postseason? What you thinking?
Man, it's getting cold outside, brother. It's getting cold outside. This is how you know we at the end of the season. We at the end of the year. Whenever you see Florida Classic, Bayou Classic type thing times roll around, start seeing those type of things. We got Celebration Bowl coming up. You know this is about to be the end. And there's always a bittersweet to the end of the season. But it seems like every year we get more and more content coming,
Right.
like in the intermittent section. You get it's about to be parade season. And you know what kind of hit me when I was thinking about it the other day? Usually around this time, a couple years back, we be thinking about, who going to Honda?
Right.
Have you heard anything about Honda at all?
Oh, man. What's so crazy? I don't know if Honda's disappeared, but Honda's definitely lost its clout that it used to have. I mean, that was a part of our, like, when I was in the band, that was a part of our schedule. Like, all right, we're going to prepare that we got Honda or whatever, but or I'm going to it. But it's definitely lost its clout. But the good thing about social media is that along with, like you said, so much content. So you have band podcasts now, you have different reaction pages, you have a lot of different things to keep you in the loop as the season goes on and to keep the conversation going. And I think that's the best thing is keeping the conversation going, because that's something I think we miss, pre-social media, not being connected. So I think bringing the bandhead community together throughout the whole duration of the season is what makes the band season good. But okay, man, we got to start with a topic. And I think the topic this week is, to discuss is, are the lights too bright? Are the lights too bright? Now, when I say that, we always talk about, we practicing, we talk about performing, we talk about, putting on a show. But when it's time to go, are the lights too bright for some of these bands? And some of these bands really get at the moment and get there and freeze up and can't perform. I just want to talk about that because I saw a battle this week, the battle that we're going to talk about, that made me think about this. And it really made me, talk about this. But discussion before we get into our topic and the battle, let's talk about announcers. Let's talk about announcers.
Yeah, I just had a show idea. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about announcers, because we know that announcers can. Thank you, Chris. He said, "I'm finally able to catch y'all live." Yes, sir. Appreciate it, bro. Announcers can make your show or break your show. And I think that y'all know I went to A&T, where we planned out every single thing. I think that announcers should have every single thing written out, because when the announcer starts to act like it's an open mic or he's live at Gotham Comedy Club or something like that, it makes I don't know, it kind of turns me off. The announcers trying to have too much personality. What people listening? What do you think about announcers integrating with the band? Should it be a little bit more loose? Should it be scripted? What do you think?
Man, look, when you said, I have different perspective on it. Like field shows, I would like it more scripted. What I will say about the Bayou Classic, though, I did enjoy the back and forth a little bit between the announcers when they were bringing stuff in. And it almost like the announcer, it made me realize the value of an announcer, right? The announcer can give you a performance/show narrative and create a story and give like a big picture idea. And a big narrative I seen from the Bayou Classic, right, was from Grambling side, Southern, we're not following you. We're not going to do what you do. We Grambling. Right. We're not following you, Southern.
Yeah.
Following us.
Right. No. I definitely agree. And we're gonna get into that battle a little bit later or next. But I just, we're going to keep that kind of, those two things going up throughout the show. Are the lights too bright? And announcers. How can announcers hurt? Chris said it needs to be scripted. There are so much announcers that do way too much. I agree. And I feel like I saw that in this battle, the Bayou Classic. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. Last week, we said this will be the perfect situation where Graham could come in and catch Southern off tilt, right? Because Southern hasn't had the best year that we've seen, and we said that if Gremlin wants to make a statement, this is the perfect time to.
Right.
Now, I don't want to get that confused with people preying on Southern's downfall, which I feel like is happening now. I feel like Southern has been at the top of the top of the top tier bands, and then people are rejoicing and seeing them not be as good or not be the best. And I'm not on that train because going back to our topic, Southern does good when the lights are on. When the lights are on, Southern is going to bring it. It doesn't matter. Kind of, they have that consciousness around their band that holds them to that higher level. But so what do you think about coming into this battle? Kind of, what would you like to see from both?
Okay, so to me, coming in right, I looked at it as it's the opportunity for both bands to showcase what they do best. Rounding off the season, coming off of Southern in particular, I was hoping for a better showing than what they showed at the Boombox Classic, Part 2 against Jackson State. And I was looking for Grambling to put an exclamation point on their season because they've had some pretty okay and pretty good showings. And when the lights is on, what are you going to do when you guys have this opportunity to where it may feel like, with any band, you should come into a battle feeling like you can win. But I just feel like with the course of the season, how everything was going, Grambling could have just had that little thing on their shoulders. Like, we really can take this. We can even make a dominant performance. We can take it home for us in a real fashion. So coming in, that's where I'm thinking both these bands' mindset is and where it's at. And I really didn't quite get that from what I seen from the performance. What I got more so was, this is Bayou Classic. We're gonna put on some enjoyable things that people can enjoy. People can like these songs. Very, very noticeable songs. A lot of songs that people know, sing along with, can recognize. It was more so like that type of event, which is not a bad thing, but kind of goes to what we said before. Who are you catering to? And that battle more so felt like general public fan base type of cater to, more so than like pure battle sense.
Yeah, we gotta understand it's in the Superdome, which is a big venue, so it can't be full bandhead. So you do got to kind of play to the crowd. So I definitely understand that. But let's get into the battle. So first of all, marching in, Grandma in these windsuits. Now I don't like to clown people's windsuits. I don't like to clown people's outfits or whatever you got on because we know, us being in the band, we know how much stuff costs. It costs a lot to clothe 200 something people. But bro, I do not like those windsuits. And then as soon as I saw it, I'm like, you don't like when somebody has like what a band has on, so it's hard for you to enjoy. So that's the problem I was having. So let's go get into it. So let's start off with the battle with a rap crank song by Drake. Nothing too spectacular. And Grambling plays Top of the World, right? There's a theme in this battle that I think that Grambling overall had better play calling, better song selection, right? But here's where they lose it every time. The lights were too bright, man. They felt like they were so excited to show something that they let it go. Also, Grambling has a trumpet problem. And I think that we all should address that, bro, because that was really bad. And you know me, I believe that in order to have a good band, like a solid band, you got to have good trumpets, trombones, and tubas. For me, I feel like if you lack in those three, it's really going to be hard for you to really even try to compete. You know what I'm saying? And they have a problem with that. And like I put in my notes, you can tell Grambling was hyped, missing notes early. All right. Both bands had tempo issues. All right. That's something I would say. And I put this in my notes, but this is kind of the theme. Do you think that the big stage for a battle can cause a lot of mistakes like that? Because I think that as bands, we're so used to playing in the street, playing where it's not that much attention. But like that, at Jackson, were you ever in a battle like that where you were like, the lights and everything is like it's on you, and it's like a stand battle?
I mean, I would say the first Crankfest, really kind of that's like the epitome of just
But
feeling.
even that was
That's,
still outside though. That was
yeah,
still, yeah.
I mean that's like the closest thing I could give to it, unless you like count the game and people just being in your face. Or parades is like different because you're moving,
Right.
type of thing. But like enclosed, like right up on you, like a Bayou Classic type setting, how that environment would feel, that would be foreign to me. I never did like that.
Right. Right. So yeah, I did that one time. We played Norfolk, and we did it was like a for homecoming. We did like a step show and a battle. So
Oh yeah.
at the same time, and
Oh
that
yeah.
was like it reminded me of that. Like all the I'm like, yo, we've been marching the band for years. I'm like, I've never been in this type of situation. I feel like us as a band, we had like a lot of issues because it's hard to focus in that. So I mean, granted, these two bands do this at the same place every year, so there's really no excuse. But I just thought that was a good question. So later in the battle, Southern played "On My Mama," which is a song of the year. You know what I'm saying? We've been saying that song's overplayed. And Grambling played "When I See You." Again, a better song choice in my selection, but execution. This is where you lose it. And when we talk about top tier bands, we talk about bands that are used to it. Southern, though they didn't have the best performance that they've ever had or that they had this year at this battle, they still were able to bring it to you like a good clean sound. To me, Grambling really lacked that. They flubbed a lot round three. The round three they flubbed the first note, which was I saw it on Instagram before I even saw the video. Then I have Grambling trumpets and entrances were bad. Also, Southern tubas. Again, we've been talking about Southern tubas a lot too. To me, they didn't really give it all away. What you think about that? And we kind of keep going.
In those first about 3-4 rounds, I'm right with you, man. Like execution was a big thing. I'm like, man, I'm liking what Grambling's giving me, but I really having to give these rounds to Southern because they're just playing overall better. And to me, it's like the margin wasn't too different. It wasn't too different. We've heard better. Really, you look at me, yes, because I'm gonna tell you what, right? Outside of the trumpet issue, the sound, the overall like cohesive sound of the band, it wasn't too vastly different to me. They both didn't sound like too great. It really didn't sound like Southern was just in a class of its own. It more so sounded like Grambling wasn't doing what they do best. Because in my mind, I've heard Grambling sound better this year.
Right.
We won't get into the ESPN list, but I went back earlier today and watched the Florida Memorial versus Grambling battle. And I'm listening to this Grambling, I'm like, dang, if this band would have played like they did here versus Southern, it would have been more competitive and they could have pulled out a win. I think that early in this battle, what was really pulling me, if I go sound for sound, note for band, I'm getting Southern. But if I'm looking like overall feeling and pretty much entertainment value, Grambling is taking up some type of energy there. And it's really hard to just put my finger on what they're doing exactly. I just think about, they're coming out different with we're going slow. We're starting out slow. And then Southern having to come out real big and then go slow. And then Graham's like, nope, we going this way. Right. So it just felt like they're in control of themselves. And also I didn't mind the windsuits. It made me it made me go,
Right.
No, not at all. But I was like, it was different. But shout out to Grambling. But I definitely got Southern early on in these rounds. I really wanted more from them because we've heard them do better, and I just felt like it was less than their potential. I don't like seeing bands perform less than like what their potential is. But it was entertaining these first 3-4 rounds overall.
Yeah, and I think that's people's problem with Southern this year is that people have such a high expectation, especially for this battle. I mean, this battle historically has been kind of it's always like at the end, but it's where Southern kind of gives you some maybe 2 more new songs that you haven't heard. A great example of that was the Bayou Classic 2018. That's a very good battle if you want to go back and watch that. That's a great battle, but a standout song for me that I thought was good was from Grambling was Kush Breath it was on round 4. It's by Big Boogie. I thought that was really good. And also too, Southern tried to pull the okey doke and play a gospel song, and Grambling didn't go for it. So that's another, that's another thing. But yeah, I think overall, yeah, like in looking at these songs, like looking at the song selection, it's a lot of what Southern played earlier this year. But I'm telling you, man, Grambling did a great job with song selection. I mean, they played "Let Me Blow Your Mind" by Eve. They played "I Can Love You" by Mary J. Blige. I thought that was good. Um, like I said, the Kush Breath. But yeah, I thought that song selection wise, Grambling did really good, but execution wise, it could have been a lot better. Do you have anything else? Also, too, this battle, I normally enjoy, Southern versus Grambling, but this battle was pretty on the boring side for me, just because I felt like Grambling wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, and Southern was just like there, like they were just ready to kind of like get through it per se. Any last comments on the battle, then we can move on to the list.
Yeah, man. I think like overall entertainment value, there could have been so much more. We've had great moments coming from Bayou Classics. I think when I think about great Bayou Classic moments, I remember when Hello went viral. Like everybody was like,
yeah, that was
a
big,
moment.
man.
Yeah,
that was big.
Like that rap mix they had like 2011, 2012. That
legendary video, 2012. Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm thinking like those type of Bayou Classic moments, and like for either band, that was not something that just there to suck you in all the way.
Right.
And it just made me a question when I was watching. I was like, at this point in band, right? How do we feel about guest singers? How we feel about guest singers? Because I feel like we had a long since COVID hit, we had a good drought.
Yeah. And I like it. I love
it. And now singers coming back.
Yo, I'm not a fan of that, yo. And you know why I'm not a fan? Because if you're watching it, it feels like the artist is so far away from you. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't really give a good crowd experience. And it's hard to do because practice wise, like they not with y'all in practice. They probably gonna practice with y'all one time, if that. You know what I'm saying? They may send y'all, they may record you and then send them the video, something like that. So that's hard to do. We talking about the next day where Southern had Fantasia. Talk about that.
And they had one in the Bayou Classic as well.
Yeah.
In the
middle. Yeah.
They had that was the gospel song, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's not my. I'm saying, of course, we look at it as we were in the band, and I know I never liked that. I mean, we've had that perform. It's just not my favorite thing. Also, too, what do you feel about this battle? Then doing 2 songs per round.
That was kind of iffy, man. Like,
yeah.
I had a battle when you mentioned the step show thing. We did battle Prairie View in the gym with a step show at the same time. I absolutely hate that format, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's weird to do like the 2 songs at the same time. The transition all the way throughout the battle, like from top to bottom.
Battle. Yeah.
It's so weird, man. It's so kind of weird. Yeah. I don't know if that was decided beforehand or was that like a time thing. I'm not sure what it was, but I think like for entertainment value, you got to do one at a time, or if you're gonna do 2, like do the first half one at a time and do like 2 towards the end or something. Because even with how these bands were doing 2 at a time, you get in like 2 different song types that really don't go together at all. It's not like you get in like 2 songs that really mesh well together, or bands are doing medleys every single round. That's just not gonna happen.
Right. And I feel like with some of these rounds, since it's 2 songs, they like Southern especially threw away like round 7. They played What It Is and then Handsome and Wealthy. Like this too. Like I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. I don't get it, but yeah. Shout out to Southern, man. I mean, they took a dub, but people are. It's not a clean sweep, and that's what you want. You want a clean sweep. So, yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to Southern, man. I mean, good battle. I'm excited to see what they do next year because they have a lot of hate, and hopefully they use this hate to really like step it up. But Grambling again, shout out to Grambling staff. Great play calling, great play calling. The arrangements can be a lot better. I can say that, but great song selection. Somebody is listening. Somebody's keeping their ear to the streets in a program. Let's move on, though, man. So last week we talked about should bands be ranked? Like that was a big thing, right? And we know that ESPN has this band of the year battle where they have two different tier bands. So the selection was made. We talked about last week the list, but the selection was made for the bands to participate in this year's band of the year battle, which is in Atlanta, mid-December. And the tier one band is Jackson State versus North Carolina A&T, which is the theme of this show. And the second tier is Florida Memorial and Virginia State, which I'm glad that those two bands. I'm more excited to see those two bands than Jackson State and A&T, because I don't know in a world we would see them two bands come together. And Florida Memorial is obviously a newer program. It's a program that we've been talking about on this show for a while. So I'm glad that they're getting that acknowledgement. What do you think about these two bands meeting up, separately at this event? And what are you looking forward to seeing at this battle?
So when the list dropped, I had a couple. I think they dropped one last week, so I pretty much had an idea that these two was probably going to be the ones. I don't really see anything stuck out that was going to change it. So going into it, I'm seeing Florida Memorial. Like you said, we've talked about them plenty of times. It was really coming into my season, this season in particular, to as a band that I would like to watch and see. I saw them. They're only full posted fifth, I think, they did Grambling, which I thought they did a really good job, and they sound good every performance they have. I've seen people describe them as like FAMU, but to me, they're different. To me, I can see the differences. I can see how like the influence, or people can say like Florida style, but I don't think that's directly towards FAMU. For what I get from them. Virginia State, they've had some good showings this year. Yeah. We saw them in the National Battle of the Bands. They had a good battle early on against NSU. Really aggressive coming out this year. I haven't seen any field shows from them since like those first 2 weeks. So I'm really interested to see what that type of matchup is. The biggest thing for me that makes my opinion on this event is, what is the format? Is everyone just going to be doing field shows? Is there going to be stands? How long the field shows? Is it traditional battle of the band setup? Those are the type of questions I have going in. As far as A&T and Jackson State is, that puts a big question mark on my head as well. Reason being is that bands should not be ranked, especially by not ranked by ESPN. Hey, we can get into that one too. But
and we can rank teams like football teams. So why can't we rank bands? I mean, obviously we talked about this last week, but obviously it's based on where you're from and how you feel about music. But I mean, I think we can all universally say that, okay, this band is better than this band. With some examples that they give us. But my fault. Go ahead.
But going into this one is I haven't seen Jackson State put on like a full premiere field show this year, because I think essentially every game except for one game they've had an away band come. So that eat up halftime time and everything like that. So you can't really throw out the bus or whatever, everything you want to do in a field show. And then we just see A&T come off this Bands of America performance, which is it's them, this showcase. You have the floor. This is the venue where you pull out everything that you can do. And knowing Jackson State this year is one thing that they know very well game to game. They know their opponent. They know who they're going up against, and they prepare to win. Every time they come out and they prepare to win. So knowing that they're going to be in this stage, the first ever ESPN Band of the Year, they knowing that A&T comes out with their field shows who have some legendary field shows this decade. What is Jackson State going to pull out to try to compete with that and make sure they're on top? And I think this is a type of challenge that if Jackson State goes all the way into it, we could see like something really crazy and different
Right.
from Jackson State, because this is, if anything is going to push them to do something like that, it's going to be this.
Right. Well, let me tell you something. I'm an alumni of North Carolina A&T. When we know that we have to do a field show, it's like that's our bag. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we do. So when I think that this is strictly field show, this ESPN Battle of the Bands, which is a disservice to the band heads. But okay. So I'm not necessarily I'm more excited to see how Jackson responds to this because, like we said, Jackson this year, everybody that they beaten in that other band's way, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like they really brought it to them in their own way, but really like if like let's say they were playing FAMU, they're gonna really like finesse them or do you know what I'm saying? Like they would have beat them in a way that FAMU would go, damn, we just got beat by Jackson. Not just that they're just a loud cranking band or whatever, So I'm excited to see the challenge that this puts on Jackson. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Jackson's field shows are kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? They're repetitive. We know they're gonna start with blowing. They'll come down, make some field formations, doing a great ballad. You know what I'm saying? Dance girl feature. Like we know what it's gonna be. So I'm excited to see how this challenges Jackson State's staff. And we commended Jackson State staff a lot this year, based on their creativity. So I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. Now, the tier 2 with Florida Memorial, I'm excited to see them as well because I don't really think I paid attention to one of their field shows, but I think that's where the battle is really going to be. Is these two bands' field shows because Virginia State is very aggressive. Virginia State brings it when they perform, and that has been a good they've definitely shown it this year. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited to see how this goes. I would love to see them put in a stand aspect to it because, just for the band heads or just have the bands on the field, possibly because only 4 bands, so it can't be that much. But yeah, man, I'm very excited. And I think that, we just had to comment about ESPN ranking the bands. I think that this helps expand our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like we can say, okay, our band, we want to gatekeep. We want to make sure that, it's all about the music. It's all about, so we don't list them or we don't rank them. But what incentivizes these bands to keep it going? We talked about it last week. What incentivizes these bands to really because I don't know, you ever been on one of them lists in the band? People act like they don't care, but they care. They definitely care. I'm telling you, they care. They, especially the ones where you got to vote. They want to win. They want it because they know it's it's the look. Mm-hmm. So I feel like shout out to ESPN. I just want ESPN to be able to get people who are in the culture who really understand it, to really, really digest it and really put out a good list. But these selections, aren't that bad. I wouldn't necessarily. The band directors are the judges, not ESPN. Oh, it got to be because Florida Memorial is a niche school. It would be hard to kind of just pick them out of nowhere. So somebody has to know what they're talking about in order to pick them. Them two schools, but I don't know, man. I'm excited. Like I said, of course, I'm excited to the logo marching machine really got me excited with that that BOA performance, man. That really, I'm gonna go watch that when I get off this. It was really good, and that's when I told you when I watched it, that was like, oh man, like this is why I chose to go to this school and everything. So I feel like if they keep that same energy going into this, then it's gonna be a great one. What do you think?
I think my thing was I was just thinking about something at a point. I'm not mad at, even though ESPN has a list. I think as a culture, we decide how important this list is, right? I think it's up to us as the fans, the alums, the people that participate in the band heads that watch week in and week out, how important that being number one on this particular list and doing this particular performance is, right? Because you could be a Florida Memorial, right? And you could go in and you Division II leader and you win, you put on a good show, and that does something for your program. But it's like you compare it to, like, let's say a number 3 on the Division I list, it's a little different. Or if you go through and you have really good field shows and you like Bethune but don't battle nobody, but you win the ESPN thing, it's not really respectable. So I think having it there is a bonus. But do I really think that it's going to be like a dominant thing? Well, we got the ESPN thing, so we the best band in the world. No, that's for people in the YouTube comments arguing with each other. Like that's for them. That's for them. But I think bands themselves, I don't think it's really going to adjust and change too much outside of like the performance itself. I don't think week after week bands are going to be trying to be on this list. I think they're going to do their best and perform, and they will hope to potentially get an opportunity to do it. And if not, like that's okay too. It really doesn't matter.
I can agree, but until they watch once they pick a winner, that is when it's going to be like people are going to be like, okay, now I want to win. Now we want to win as a program because it's just another. All these awards and stuff is all made up. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just go ahead and get something that, you know what I'm saying, like it looks good, it sounds good. ESPN Band of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that you can just say that's going to sound good. So I think now it's not that big of a deal, but until they pick a winner and they go this, because it's going to make it sound like this was the best band. We said who we thought was the best band this year, Jackson State. Right? So to get an award saying that is going to be even bigger. Watch, I'm telling you.
I can see that. You know, I can see the comments already. Like, but I seen it today. Like, but is your band on the list? Your band not even on the list. So don't even come over here talking about my video. Like your band not even on the list.
That's what I'm saying. But okay. Let's get into predictions. Now, there's only one game left.
Yeah.
And that is Prairie View versus FAMU. Prairie View versus FAMU. I think this is a SWAC championship.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, we said the same thing with Graham. FAMU right now in the band world is pretty high up there. They've had some good fifths. They really showcased their band this year pretty well. Prairie View not so much. So Prairie View to me, this is a chance where you can come in and shut everything down. All right, so you can get on the rankings for next week or you know what I'm saying, next year, whatever. I'm saying that I think that this would be a good battle. I'm excited to see what PV does. I think FAMU is going to, keep hitting their style. What you think about this battle and this matchup between these two bands?
Man, I really like this matchup. Man, I really like it. I
Yeah.
think it's a style clash, very unique. It gives me another opportunity to see PV because I think they've had like a good band this year that just really saw nobody. And FAMU, the last two showings have been really good, man. So it just I think, to me, if I was just like rank these bands in overall in the SWAC, I have them like right here, like right neck and neck. And I think this battle is a good opportunity to get that out there and SWAC championship. So I think they have like pretty decent length fifth for the SWAC championships, if I'm not mistaken. So you're gonna see different things, and then Prairie View is not afraid to go the FAMU-ish type of route with how they play and still stay to themselves. I'm just curious to see what FAMU would do on this stage, and then we could potentially see one of these bands participate in a Celebration Bowl. I also heard a rumor that one of these bands or the bands that are in the Celebration Bowl could also perform during the ESPN Band of the Year thing. I'm not sure, but
it's all the same weekend.
Might as well. And then that goes to another thing, right? So let's say, right, FAMU wins this football game, and then they go to ESPN Band of the Year, and they not number one or number two, but they go out there and have the best performance.
Right. What does that say now? Oh, why weren't we ranked? But hockey though, that's what you kind of want. You want that, we want to rank. We came through and shut it down. We had everybody on their feet standing up, saying Jackson State who? Well, you know what I'm saying? That's what you want. But they might as well, and that should be a continuous thing. Like you have the ESPN Band of the Year, and you have the bands that were performing for the Celebration Bowl, kind of as exhibition, I guess. I don't know. But okay. Also, last week too, and I couldn't find the battle of this, but Tuskegee versus Alabama State. We talked about that. I just want to mention one thing. Alabama State, they played Ball and Parlay as a knock to Tuskegee, because that's one of Tuskegee's most known songs. I think that's corny. We talked about that the week of Norfolk State versus Tennessee State when Tennessee State played Dirty Diana or something like that. It's like,
Mhm.
come on, man. Like, I'm not saying obviously no band owns these songs, right? But we know that a lot of these bands are synonymous with these songs. I feel like when you try to do that, it shows that you're thinking about them way too much, and it shows that that is one of their songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but what you feel about that? Like, just playing a song, not necessarily better, but just to show them like, we played this song. What you think about
I mean, shoot, I can't even talk. We did it so many times.
that?
We did it like I think 17 was kind of like the year that like shoot because we played Tuskegee, we played Ball and Parlay in the field show.
Mhm.
Shoot, that same year we played I don't give a fuck against Southern, and then we did
Yeah.
the whole GSU thing too.
Mhm.
But shoot, it received well. It received well every time we did one of those things. So
Yeah.
um, I'm not too mad at it. I'm not too mad at it. It seemed like the fans really liked it when I watched the
Yeah.
video. It's up to the fans how the fans receive it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because if
That's
your
what I'm
fans
saying. Like,
eat it up and they like you want this is what you want, right? You want your fans to eat it up and do their song to them and have their fans over there either like, dang, our band doesn't play this like this, or nah, we're gonna show them how to
right.
like some emotion. But if it's just like bad, like yeah, what are you doing? What
Yeah.
you don't want is like when shoot, I'll say it when bands try to play Get Ready at Jackson State and everybody's just kind of like,
Mhm. Right.
we
So
don't
what
care.
you need a big reaction. You need something that's like, so yeah. I definitely see that. All right. Okay. All right, guys. I mean, that's pretty much all we got.
Yeah.
The band season is really filing down. Like I said, our theme this episode was is the light too bright, meaning that when you go out there, with these bands performing, do they clamp up when the lights come on? Like, is it when it's time to actually like give it? Are they like scared? If you're gonna play the other band song, you got to play it better. Absolutely, and it has to be like you know a lot better for for like what you said. It has to be the crowd has to say, "Dang, like, oh man, are we like you know good?
I got a quick hit for you though. I'm gonna just name
Mm-hmm.
some band matchups and see who you got because I just think like we still got some little question marks just based
Okay.
on how these bands play throughout the season and how different weeks is different. You got
Mm-hmm.
Texas Southern, Alabama State.
Mm. It depends, man, because Texas Southern is trying to really they're trying to put you in the dirt with their musicality, right? So they're going to win on that aspect, but the execution is not always the best. I feel like Alabama State coming in, they might play they might play it lesser, but less maybe more in that case. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like they may have better song selection, and that may help them. But I think that's a good matchup too. But I'm gonna go Texas Southern just because of just the history and the musicality and everything. What you think?
Yeah, I mean that's hard. Like to me, it's hard for me because I would think the best Texas Southern I saw this year was them against like Grambling. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was like their best that I've seen. And that to me against Alabama State best would not be enough. And I think we got like little measuring sticks as when they played Jackson. If you compare Alabama State's performance against Jackson versus Texas Southern's against Jackson, I'm
Mm-hmm.
preferring Alabama State's
Alabama
performance
State. Yeah.
outside of like really outside of like that shoot, I think both bands had mistakes that battle, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both bands did have mistakes that battle, but I'm looking at Alabama State. And I think it just makes I think we give a lot of Texas Southern a lot of credit because we can see what
What
is
is
there, what is
what is
supposed to be there. But
right?
if you just take it at face value, I don't think it's quite enough. What do you
Definitely.
think about should we gonna see PV versus FAMU? That was another one I was gonna throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
PV versus A&M.
Mm. That's another good one too. Because I feel like A&M. Shout out to A&M. They did the Mason Thanksgiving Day parade this year. So
Yeah,
shout out to all bands that participated. And I think Tennessee State did the parade
it's
in
like a
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah. So shout out to them. Oh, parade season, man. Doing that parade, like, bro, doing that parade show. I hate doing the parade show where you got to stop and turn. I cannot stand it. But so shout out to them because that's a lot of practice. And when you're on TV or something like that, you got to make sure that you hit it right, the times right, and everything. So shout out to Anna. But I'm gonna give it to A&M, bro. I like A&M this year. I feel like they have a good mix between. I like their battle with fam. I feel like they had a good mix between being able to crank and being able to like sauce you up a little bit. Um, I'm gonna say A&M in that. But you know what? I gotta watch more PV. And this, you know what? This PV battle versus FAMU was really gonna tell me a lot about them. We at the end. It's really time for them to really like give it up. So I'm excited to see this battle because I think that's gonna really tell me a lot about where PV ranks on my list as far as them doing good this year. But I think that they're better than last year, and that's all that matters. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you because it's just I think like they had a great showing against Southern. I wish that battle was a little longer. Could have shown me some more. I really like them this year, man. I just wish we had some more from them. A&M, I think they did good, but I just felt like it was the same program from last year, like almost like the same exact thing. Like, I mean, they played some similar songs they played in the years before. It was like nothing, to be honest, like distinguish them from like previous versions of themselves, and they're just kind of like, yeah,
that's called good retention. That's good retention, boy. That's what. Yeah. That's what it is. But yeah. Any more else? Any more else? When we can look back around talking about announcers, which was our first discussion, and how announcers can really help or hurt. Like I said, I don't like when announcers freestyle. I like it more when it's scripted. But yeah, and we saw that a lot in this Bayou Classic battle. I don't like when they start to have the back and forth with the announcers all the time because it feels like the announcers want to get the same shine as the band, and that's what I don't like. I don't like when you are trying to get your ego stroked because you are on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it be about the band. You want the crowd to be like, you. At some point, you shouldn't even need the announcer to hype up the band because because the band is doing it already. You know.
I like the announcers I think like up until like round 5, I was cool with the announcers. After that, I was like, all right, they can just be quiet now. Announcers is a tricky thing. For this performance, Jackson State in particular, announcers really need to be quiet most of the time, y'all. I know that Jackson State has a bad rep of the announcer spitting random facts about the school throughout the field show that has nothing to do with anything over the band. And I always hated that. Especially like watching the clip again. I'm like, yo, you just talking like, especially I know when the school is like established. Who cares who the president is right now? Really.
Right.
Like no one really cares. No one's really checking for that.
What I will say is that these events that go towards the crowd instead of the band heads, I hate the announcers that be on the mic because they weren't in the band or they don't know a lot about bands, so they really kind of overshadow. Like it's different when it's the band's announcer, but when it's like a DJ talking, that's why I'd be like, okay, bro, you got to chill out, bro, because you don't even get band like that. You just are just hired to host or something like that. But hey guys, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. I mean, we have a lot of great band coming up. I don't know. Are we gonna be back next week? We only got one battle. I know we got the band of the year. We're definitely gonna be back for that. If anything, we'll do a reaction or a review to FAMU. I think that'll probably serve it better. But hey guys, we appreciate you guys for tuning in this season. I mean, we've been really able to grow our production value and the audience and everything. So we want to say thank you guys for tuning in. You can always follow It's a Face Off. Definitely check them out. They're doing a lot of great things, man, with the just constantly innovating different content ideas and stuff like that. They got us, they got drum battles, they got everything. The social media is constantly posting, band clips and keep you up to date with everything in the HBCU band community. You can follow the podcast or our show on YouTube. Crank up the HBCU band podcast for our reaction to live reviews. You can follow me on social media at Horatio Radio in all platforms. What's up?
Just let us know what you want to see from us, more content wise. Let us know how you feel about this format. Last season we did the spaces. We're on to this one now. Well, this much feedback y'all can give us is the better. we aim to support the culture as well as support you guys and with good entertainment, good band, especially our perspective about things. So I know we did a little bit talking like superlatives this year, possibly. We never know, but definitely we appreciate y'all this season. If this is one of our last showings for this year, everything that the changes we've done, the viewership, appreciate the increased commentary in the comment section, having it appear on screen. It's always good to get that feedback from the fans.
Definitely, guys. Well, like I said, we got to talk to producers. I don't know if we'll be back next week, but if we don't, well, we definitely have to come back to talk about this Band of the Year battle. We have to talk about this. I mean, we have to talk about this in some capacity. So we'll be back, and we appreciate you guys for listening. But y'all have a great night, and make sure you follow us on Face Off. Thank you guys. Have a great one.
Yeah, have a good night.